Hey, it's absolutely great to be out here up in Queensland with some stellar weather, and really excited actually about the opportunity to throw a leg over this Yamaha 2022 model WR450F. One, because we didn't really ride the 21s, and they were a really big upgrade on their predecessor, a new platform if you like, and two, because we're out here with the King Kirk Hutton, who's Queensland's favourite enduro son. Kirk, correct me if I'm wrong, mate, but I think 12 from 15 ISDE Gold Medals. I think you've got 7 national titles, like 6 4-days, and one of them AORC, and then of course the crowning glory, mate, the 10 back-to-back Queensland titles with another 5 Masters, Vets ones on top of that. And interestingly enough, all of them on Yamaha, right?
That's correct. That's right, Andy. Yeah, that's about right.
So look, I think the idea, the opportunity to be up here where Kirk's based, to get out on this WR. So I said to him a little bit earlier on, this whole thing came together when I said, mate, because I know you, like a lot of racers, err on the side of a motocross bike, a YZF. Yeah. Lighter, just more nimble. A lot of the sprint orientated racing on these days in enduro in Australia, the motocross bikes happen. That's happened from top race teams sort of right down, whereas a WR sort of left for more the trail guys. So tell me again, mate, when did you ride a WR? That big 480, the big oversized 480, one in 2010?
I think 2010 around the Port Macquarie AORC track, which was a motocross track and then tight wood. So it was a bit of a handful for me back then. That's what I remember of it being, quite a bit of a handful. But there was a big bike then and was through tight woods, tight trees, trying to race.
That's the point. It was very much a trail bike back then, versus the European bikes that were much more sort of cutting edge, lightweight and aimed much more, set up for racing. Then I'm pretty sure I saw you racing on that yellow one, the anniversary model in 2016. Did you not win a title on that as well?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, 2016 I did battle with Damien Smith at the Mansfield 4-day on that. I really enjoyed that bike, won the final moto on that, and it was good on the open grass track, but I just struggled a bit with it through the trees. But I did have, we call it the Bumblebee, and it was a really good bike too. But
well, I think looking back at that bike, that was the first of the based on with the new engine, right? It was had YZF DNA, so it was a reverse engine, the 4-valve. So that was a landmark bike, but I think people came to realise pretty quickly it was a converted, it was a motocross bike converted for the bush. Right. And as soon as you put a pipe, it was pretty aggressive and pretty unwieldy, right? For the average,
it was a brute. It was a bit of a brute.
So hence, mate, here we are a few years after that. We're 5 years later. There's been an evolution. So let's just talk you through quickly what you're looking at here, because I know that you haven't been on one of these, WR450Fs since. No. Or at least since a 19 model, I think you rode.
No, well, I've been riding the YZs because they just felt a bit lighter and a bit more agile through the trees when I was racing. But, until today, I hadn't ridden the new platform WR, so yeah.
So here's what the brochure says about this new thing. So, right? Yeah. So 2022 model, which essentially, let's not sugarcoat it, it is a 21. 21's got all the big upgrades, with some new graphics on it. So just going quickly through, I think the engine got some pretty major upgrades, everything from the intake, the head, I know the transmission, clutch, they've gone up compression. I think they're up to 13.0 to 1. So the engine's got quite a bit. New friction plates, a whole lot of stuff for 2021 and 2022. On the chassis side, all new, narrower here. I think they'd thinned these down a bit, beefed up downstairs there. Different triple clamp, quite a bit different settings with the Kaiba suspension as well. And then there's a whole lot of other little bits and pieces. I think with the instrument panel, there's a new, and the brakes. The brakes actually step right up and got, with a big 270mm disc, and they've got the that spec. So on the brochure, according to the brochure, this 2022 model is closer to a motocross bike than ever before. So you got out and ride it today, mate. We had some pretty snotty stuff. I saw you got out some pretty nice, grass track, and then some really, gnarly, snotty off-road stuff. What was your first thoughts?
Straight away, I gelled with it. It felt light like the motocross bike. The power was good and it felt agile to turn straight away. Yeah, I kind of gelled with it like I did with the YZ. In years gone by, like we spoke about, I didn't feel comfortable straight away on the WR, but yeah, this one I liked it. Yeah, it really felt comfortable and I felt at home, had good feel in the front end, and the power was really good, yeah.
Was that because when you said you felt at home, because it felt more like a motocross bike than ever before, or just because it was light? There's no junk on it, that they just pared everything back and made it like a ready to race bike.
No, that's what, yeah, I think so. And that's like you say, they've pared it all back like a motocross bike. So it's actually more agile and it felt more like a motocross, more racy for me, because I'm from a race background sort of thing. That's right, it felt like a YZ straight away. It didn't feel as heavy in the front end with all the junk or all the stuff on it, you know. It was actually felt ready to go straight away. Yes, that's one of the reasons I gelled with it.
And from a suspension point of view, like it's, you know, I know that you've got your sort of, you know, YZ set up with a bit of a trail spec in it, but did it feel firmer? It's supposed to be set up a little bit firmer, but keeping that progression, you know, for these last 2 models.
Definitely felt better. I don't know if it's because the bike's not as heavy. It didn't seem to bottom out. There was a couple of G-outs that I was jumping through and jumping off, and it seemed to soak it up really well. And years gone by, I know they've come out softer, and they've had to be sprung a bit harder, but yeah, it felt really good just out of the box. Definitely have to agree with what they're saying there. There's definitely, the compression, it soaks up the harder hits straight away. It feels a bit more racy. It's not, you're not swallowing around. Yeah, okay. Definitely.
Funny thing too, I was standing next to your couple of sons, Harley and Drake, and as you powered up this really snotty hill over here before, and they've obviously watched you ride a lot, and you came back and Dad, you were straight on it, going hard up there. What? So they even sort of saw, you know, this thing, from what I observed compared to your YZ, which you've got here and rode around a bit today, much more tractable, much more predictable. You were quicker going up snotty, those really loose rocky hills.
Definitely in that loose rock, the power of this, and with that button there on the handlebar that I think you'll speak about later, that it definitely tracks easier than the YZ up the rocky hills. And like you say, the boys watch me ride a lot, so they know. They said, Dad, how can you jump on it and ride that bike like that? I said, because I felt at home on it straight away, and the drive I was getting from it, and yeah, just felt comfortable with the way the suspension was set up for the bush and the power together. It sort of felt really comfortable. I could go faster up the rocky hill than I could on a motocross bike, which is a little bit more abrupt and harder to hang on to through that stuff.
Which is great in the high traction grass track, but not so much when
you get on an open motocross track or the grass track, it's great, yeah, but like in the tight enduro stuff, what the WR is set up for, that was really good. It worked really well. I was surprised on how good it actually tracked, and the handling was really good too. It's improved a lot since I rode one.
Well, that was one of the things I forgot to mention. They've changed the frame hangers here, so they're steel. I think they're alloy on the motocross bikes, you know, and a lot of changes to frame and triple clamp, etc. But just, you know, sticking with the engine and the mapping, you know, these things have come in for a bit of criticism in the past that they don't like starting when they're hot or in gear. No problems today? No
problems at all, no. I stopped on a couple of hills there and in first gear and fired straight up. Didn't have to put it in neutral. In years gone by, I've had trouble where it wouldn't start in gear, so you've had to put them in neutral. It started in gear every time. Yeah, it wasn't flaming out too. In years gone by, I've had ones that stall a lot, tend to stall, and that's a pain when you're going through snotty stuff, you know. Yeah. So it didn't seem to want to stall, didn't flame out. It kept, the pipe was really smooth on it. A lot of people bolt the big motocross pipes on it, but I found the pipe was really good in the Teco stuff. The stock pipe is just really good for this bike. I don't know why, but it felt really good.
I saw you went out before and tried the blue map. By that I say it's the standard map with a traction setting on it, so it just dulls the power. How big a difference was it? You know, where did you notice that?
Oh, yeah, 100%. When I was, we were doing some grass track stuff before between corner to corner. When I had the light off, I was wheel standing, having trouble getting the power to the ground, but as soon as you dull that, press that blue button, you could definitely notice it just takes off the edge. So I guess it wouldn't be that good in grass track, but like through the tight stuff, it's unreal, you know, like through up rocky hills or anything tight where you don't need that hard hitting power, it really works well. I could really notice that when you told me to go and try that. Yeah, I didn't actually know what it did. I should have tried, played with it, but I've never really played with it. But yeah, that really works well. I think that could be handy in wet, slippery conditions, over logs, something where you don't need like to jump out of your hands or launch off. That's a really good option, I think. Yeah, for sure.
Mate, when I first rang you about coming and do this, you were kind of like, nah, WRs, you know, because your experience in the past. Has today's changed that kind of, you know, perception?
Yeah, look, 100%. I definitely think that I'd probably ride one of these out of the box next year. I'll probably look at getting a WR again, definitely, yeah, for sure. I've just always had the YZ because I've been racing, but now I do a lot with the boys on and off the track, and yeah, this is real user-friendly, and it feels racy too, so that's probably my ideal bike, you know, so I can go and ride with the boys on the weekend or in the paddock, and I can go and race, hit it up pretty hard if I wanted to, because it does feel good, it's confidence inspiring, and it never used to do that for me, so yeah, I'm happy with that.
Well mate, you might have when the embargo is lifted in a few days, you might have to consider between a 450 and a 252, because the word on the street is that the 2022 250 gets a massive upgrade, the same that this did 12 months ago.
Is that right?
We're looking forward to seeing that. So maybe it'll be the WR250 and 450 vying for your for attention or your dollars these days, mate.
Might be toss up between the two, I think. Yeah, because I do have a soft spot for the 250, but this new 450, it's 100% better than the old one. I guarantee that.
Well, it's been great to have you out here today, mate. A guy who's a sort of career Yamaha guy, and sort of, you know, like, I guess, introducing you to a bike that's a pretty landmark one for these guys. And I think, you know, it's the next platform. And stoked you like the thing, mate.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, Andy. I appreciate you calling me out here. Yeah, Yamaha, like the WR, when they get it right, Yamaha do a good job of things, you know. So I have ridden them for 25 years now, so I know my way around the Yamaha bike. And yeah, this one feels like pretty good. Pretty good.
Shall I make a call to HQ and you can take this one home, mate?
Yeah, well, that'd be good. Cheers, mate. Thanks.